Beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ayola. If you're seeing this video for the very first time, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, you already know you're an answer to prayers. Thank you for always coming back. We're talking about how to get into graduate school, or let's say how to study abroad without using an agent. Like, you're going to be doing everything by yourself. If you don't know, I am a recent graduate student and I did all my processing from Nigeria to the US by myself. Let me say it for the people at the back to hear. I did all the processing from A to Z by myself. No agent, no payment. And to be very honest, it was not the easiest thing, hence the reason why I would say if you want to use an agent, make sure you are using a very trusted facility. There are a lot of study abroad companies these days that do fantastic job in helping people study abroad. However, most people fall into the wrong hands, into the scams, into the Ponzi schemes, into people that just don't want good for them. So that's why I will always recommend do it yourself. But if you do not have the luxury of time to do it yourself, please get a trusted agent to help you through the process. But for those people that want to do it for themselves, this video is for you. So let's get right into the video and let's go. No, I don't like to waste time. So first thing you need to do if you're trying to get admission into graduate school, or even if into college, maybe you just finished your secondary school, which is popularly known as high school here, and you've made up your mind that you want to study abroad, right? The first thing you need to do is do your research. And when I say research, I am not saying go into a lab, get specimen. That's not what we're talking about, right? Your research in terms of schools. What school do you want to study at, right? And the truth is, a lot of people study at different places for different reasons. You'll be wondering why somebody would go and study in Alaska, for instance. It could be they got like the most amazing funding opportunity there, or they have family there, or just maybe because, well, they are fascinated about the cold in Alaska. You get me? So it could come with different reasons. So now this is where it comes in. You need to do a proper research on the kind of school you want to apply to. Are you looking at schools that are very affordable? Is that why you're looking at them? Or you just really want to japa? You just really want to leave your country and you don't care about where you are going to, which is a wrong move. So do your research, get at least 3 schools. To be very honest, this is not a put your egg in one basket. There's only one basket you should first put your egg, which is in God's basket. Whatever faith you believe in, put your eggs in God's basket. However, I love the word however. I just noticed. Anyway, despite doing that, like leaving it in God's hands, when you are picking schools, you pick, I don't think it make any sense to pick so many schools because the exchange rate is crazy and you might not be able to even pay for all the application fees, right? But pick 3 schools and just spread your net across these schools. Take, for instance, if you have family in Texas and that's the reason why you want to come to Texas, well, look for a school in Texas. If you think New York is where your dream state lies in, then maybe pick a school in New York. Then for whatever reason, you also feel like, well, California is where I want to be. Pick a school in California. So first decide where you want, because America is so big, right? You can't just say I want to come to the US. Where do you want to go to in the US? There are 51 or so country states I don't know what I'm calling them countries in the US. So please, out of these 51, which one are your top 3 that you really think I want to look for schools in this vicinity? After doing your research, the next thing is to start gathering your documents. And what I would always advise is, in this situation, you need to pace yourself. This is not a step you take in 2 months. This is not a step you take in 3 months. This is a step you take in 6 to 1 year, if not more, right? So I don't expect you to wake up tomorrow morning and say, I want to study abroad. I'm going today. you are going to lose a lot of money in the process, especially if you're trying to do it without an agent. So after doing your research, number two would be gather your documents. Check through documents like your certificate, your transcript, your statement of purpose, which is a letter that shows your intent. Make sure that letter is original, by the way. Don't copy anybody's letter. Anything you see online, beware of it. Read it, take inspiration and ideas from it, and write a very unique SOP. Right? So gather those documents, because in as much as you have applied to three different schools, these are basic across all schools. All schools want to see that you graduated from somewhere. All schools want to see that you have a proper certification. All schools want to see that you can write an SOP, a letter of intent as to why you want them to admit you. Right? All schools want to see your CV, your resume, which shows your past experience and your present positioning. Right? They want to see all that. So those are basic. Even before you apply to any school, those are basic things you need to start gathering up. And after you finish gathering them up, now talk about standardized tests. Tests like ETS, tests like the IELTS, tests like the TOEFL, tests like the GRE, the GMAT. These are the tests you would probably need to take. I have so many videos here on my channel reiterating the fact that not everybody needs to take the GRE or the GMAT or any of these exams, to be honest, depending on the school that you're applying to. Doing your research will also involve that you check through the list of the schools and you see their requirements. What do they want from me, right? And this will determine the kind of documents that you are gathering for them. So since you are doing this on your own, you don't have an agent, I would say you can talk to a trusted person, maybe your sibling, your parent, to also help you look at the requirements. In case you are missing something, other people can probably be able to catch what you did not see. Upon getting all your documents in check, if you also need to talk to your school concerning your transcript, because most schools, there's this popular thing, especially in Nigeria where I come from, and I think it's common across almost all African countries, they are very slow with documentation. So when I was getting my transcript and I noticed that it was going to take time, I expedited the process. I think I paid some money to do the processing. And the truth is, all these things that I mentioned, gathering your documents is going to cost you money. Getting your transcript is most likely going to cost you money. And that's why we are cutting out agents, right? Pay for the important things. Agent is not necessarily important. What agents are going to do for you is put all these documents together and submit it. And since you can read and write, I think you are good for it, right? Another important document you need to be very conscious about is recommendation letter. Start speaking to people, start speaking to professors. Nobody likes it when people spring up on them just because they need something, right? Start establishing relationships again. If you don't have relationship with your professors before, well, you need to find a way to start having that relationship months before you finally pop the question and say, I'm not saying use them, to be honest. I think most professors should be excited about their students wanting to do this, but you know how life can be, right? Nobody likes to be sprung up on and say, oh, I need recommendation letter because you taught me. Yes, give me recommendation letter. Who are you? Who do you think you are, right? So you need to pace yourself, establish relationships and build up to it, then ask for recommendation letter. Recommendation letter can literally mean or man your application. So please make sure that whoever is recommending you actually knows what they are saying about you. You get me? So next thing you will do now is apply. Like I say, apply to at least three schools. And this is because in case one does not come in and give you admission, another might give you admission. Maybe two gives you admission, one doesn't, or one gives you admission, two doesn't, right? You don't want a situation whereby, oh, now you didn't get an admission and you are angry, you are sad, there's no other option, oh, life is over. We don't want that. We want to be in a safe spot. And is there a possibility that the three doesn't give you admission? Very well, so there is that possibility. And what do we do in that situation? We dust ourselves up, cry a little, or cry very well, dust ourselves up and try again. That's just literally what you need to do. And hand it to God. And if it's God's will for you, it would happen, right? Next thing after applying is wait for the admission decisions. This is the tricky part. This part is nerve-wracking. And Before you wait for admission decision, one thing you can do after applying for your school, to the program of your choice. I don't know. I think I forgot to mention. As you're doing the research about the school, please also research about the program. What do you want to study? It's not enough for you to want to go to a school. Do they have the course that you want to study? Are they willing to fund you? Because those are the nitty-gritties of what would probably make your decision to go to a school or not. Anyways, after applying, during application, there is something in most schools that states that, oh, do you want to be considered for a scholarship? Absolutely say yes, right? This is not a, if I say yes, maybe they won't give me any admission. If I say no, or maybe that's when they'll give me the admission. If they give you admission and they don't give you funding, what will you do? Right? Especially if you are looking to be funded. So please be truthful. If in your student portal, it says in your application portal, it says, would you like to be considered for a scholarship? If you do want a scholarship, just say yes. That's just, it's as easy as that. And after you say yes, there probably be other documents to fill. Just do what you need to do. One thing you need to be conscious of about application and submission is deadlines. You don't want a situation whereby you're submitting your application after the deadline. Please look at that requirement. And that's the point where research will always be the number one thing to do. Look at that requirement properly. If they tell you that they have a priority deadline for consideration, please submit it before the priority deadline. These are the things that would either make them consider you or not consider you. Enough about application. I have said so much about application. Anyways, now it's time to track that application that you've put in. You can track the application through the portal you submitted to. It would show you application status. You can, because some people they send out their admission early, and some people they don't send out their admission as early as possible. And since you want to know your faith, I would say track your application. The way I tracked my application was I sent a couple of emails to admission office asking what is the status of my admission or of my documents. Have they been vetted? Have they moved to the next stage for consideration? And if I don't get a reply, or if I don't get a reply as soon as I want, I take my phone and I call the school. The admission office always have a phone number and an email address under their in the directories, right, in the website of the school. They always have admission phone number. So in this case, I call them. It wastes a lot of my call card. In Nigeria, we buy something called credit for our mobile phone, and that's what allows us to like call other people, right? So when I'm calling people here in the US, it's more expensive because it's an international call. But these are the price that you need to incur. These are the price that you need to pay basically. So I call admission office and I ask, oh, have my documents been vetted? Has it moved to the next stage of the application? And they just answer me, right? They just give me the answer, yes or no. And this is good so that you don't just sit down and your your application is not even being worked on. So make sure you track your documents, track it. Yeah. And if you don't have your admission, you already know the drill. Just go back to the drawing board, look at what you probably missed and what went wrong, or try other schools. So now that you have your admission, what's the next thing to do? Now you know that, well, I am one step close to getting to the US, which is very exciting, but you're not here yet. So calm your nerves, calm your chest down. Now you apply for your I-20. Your I-20 is an immigration document that allows you go into the embassy, to the US embassy, to apply for a visa. So you get the I-20 from the school after presenting financial documents. And if you got a scholarship in the process, amazing. They would attach all this information. It's just like a 4-page paper. It's not like it's a brochure or something. It's just a 4-page paper, right? The school sends it to you and you use that to apply for your visa. The next step is applying for your visa. And this is also very easy. All you need to do is go on the US website, the USCIS website. There would be like a proper direction to how to go there. The website is not a secret code. It is like common knowledge. Your school would even tell you like, oh, now you have your I-20, please go to the US portal, USCIS portal, and apply for your visa and will be able to get a date. Depending on the country you are from, some country gets dates earlier than some country. And this is the point where I would say I actually did pay, right? Because I couldn't find a date for myself, an earlier date. So I had to contract somebody to help me, like stay up all night, help me look for dates. That's the only time that money exchange hands from me to somebody else, right? So is this something I would encourage? Well, to me, he didn't really do anything. He didn't get me like a very earlier date, right? However, it's an option to explore in a case where you can't find dates on time. I'm telling you, people, I'm not going to come here to come and lie for you that I did not. I did use somebody eventually, but oh well, same old. I still got the date I got. So now you get a date for your visa interview, prepare for your visa interview. I have so many videos here on my channel talking about how to comport yourself during the visa interview and all that good stuff. So definitely I will link them in the description so you could check them out. And if you have any other question, just leave them down below. English will not kill me. Leave them down below in the comment section. Apply for your visa, and when you get your visa, then hooray, pack your stuff, and it is time to Chakwa, chakwa, Oya Jawala, London, Jawala, US. So, yeah. Now, here, basically, these are the steps to take to get an admission without using an agent. It is not rocket science. If you really sit with it, it is very possible. It is very visible. If you need my help in any way, drop your question in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer as much questions as possible. On getting to the USA, and another thing people try to put on you is, yes, before you go for a visa interview, of course, prepare. It's not magic. You need to actually put in the work. People say port of entry is hard. Maybe not. Maybe it is for some people than others. However, I have a video here talking about my port of entry experience, so you can check that out. And to be very honest, I don't think port of entry is as difficult as most people make it. Anyways, that's all from me to you. I hope this video helps somebody. I hope you see reasons to use an agent or not to use an agent for that application. But these are the steps I took during my application process that led me to this point. And now I'm a graduate of health sciences, and I am very proud of how far I've come, how far God has brought me. And I hope that you also scale through your journey and have an amazing testimony to share in the future. Love you all. I would see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Drop a comment if you have any questions. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.